Good day, nice day today. Yeah, it's Adrian Brewster, and today I would like to present to you the Americano. First, why is it called the Americano? And what is the history of the Americano? We should first understand that Americano is one of the black classic drinks that we have in the industry right now. It really started way back from between 1935 to 1945 during the Second World War. This war was between the Axis powers and the Allied powers. So different soldiers from different countries were demanded to go in other countries so that they could do their military operations. Here we are seeing American soldiers going to Italy, finding a black coffee called espresso. The espresso was too strong that they needed to replicate it or dilute it with hot water. Hence, the Americano. Calling it Americano, it was as a tribute to the American soldier who really made the drink popular. So we are seeing that after a certain period of time, it started spreading to other parts of the world. The European countries, more of the European countries started adapting it. Then it went back to America. It was an essence of making a drink that really resembled the filtered coffees that they used to take in America. So as a need to really bring out and appreciate the Americans for the good drink that they really came up with, it was decided that it should be called Americano. So everyone would wonder how we should make Americano. As I told you before, it is espresso diluted with water. But in this case, it can either be made in a cold form or a hot form. But today, we are mainly going to see Americano made in hot form. This is a black coffee that is made by diluting either a single shot of espresso for those who want it light, or a double shot of espresso for those who want it a little bit strong. We put a double shot of espresso first in the cup, then dilute it with hot water. This will bring differences in the cup sizes depending on how different cafes really deal with it. You can find some serving it in 7 ounce, 8 ounce, or 9 ounce. So standards will always change depending on the cafe. But what will not change, it will be that espresso will always go first in the cup, then water on top. So let's dive into this. Yeah, so we also talked about the iced Americano. Here we are saying that we are having our Americano iced. The dilution of the espresso with water, but in this time it is in iced form. So we shall get a double shot of espresso first in our glass. The glass will always start from 12 ounce, 14 ounce, 16 ounce, depending on the recipe and the standards of the cafe, and depending on how you want your coffee to be. You want coffee to be bold, to be more rich, so you would always go for a 12 ounce glass. Then you should put in your double shot of espresso, ice cubes, and then cold water on top. Then serve. Guys, if you really find this information really helpful to you, feel free to subscribe, like, press the notification bell so that whenever we post a new video, you get notified. So everyone would wonder, how does Americano taste like? We are saying that we are diluting a shot of espresso, which would be more bitter, with hot water, meaning we are going to get a drink that is rich, bold, and with less bitterness, since the high bitterness from the espresso is mostly diluted with the water. So what else should we know? In terms of caffeine content, Americano should be taken because you find that the caffeine in Americano is lower than the other filtered coffees. So for those who want to really appreciate the richness of the coffee, you would go for the Americano, because you're saying that we are just putting in a double shot of espresso, which ranges from either 25 or 20 seconds to 30 seconds. So meaning there is not much time between the water and the grinded coffee. So the caffeine content is a bit less than the filtered coffees. So for those who would like to have something with less caffeine compared to filtered coffees, I'd recommend you to use the to always go for the Americano. Then, still on the taste wise, flavor wise, it will also always depend on the coffee you're using. When you go for the fruity coffees, like Ethiopia, Guatemala, Colombia, and you really have that espresso base using the fruity coffees, you always have that fruity Americano. Then if you go for coffees which are chocolatey, nutty, caramelized, for example, the Brazilian beans, so you always appreciate the flavor of the caramel, the flavor of the chocolate, because the drink really gives you that bold and rich flavor profile. So I always recommend you guys to go for the Americano. Since the caffeine is low, you can even take it at night and really have your sleep.